You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Ian Johnson.
On the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream. This is AfterBuzz TV for How to Make It in America. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest How to Make It in America news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AfterBuzz TV for How to Make It in America.
Hello, welcome to the conversation, How to Make It in America, your AfterBuzz, your after show, AfterBuzzTV.com. We appreciate everybody checking us out online, Ustream, and of course all our faithful iTunes fans. My name is Ronnie Jr. How to Make It in America, my favorite show. I think that I've connected to pretty much ever.
And you're making it all our favorite show.
And I have forced these people with me to hang out, so we're going to have an hour-long conversation about this great show. As always, my wonderful, amazing co-hosts, we have...
Spicy Mari in the building.
Spicy Mari, and of course, our social media guru.
Guru.
Yeah, nerd.
Right? I'm a nerd. Jesse F. Daniels in the building. Hi.
Jesse F. Daniels. And one of the concepts I had for this show was to bring in movers and shakers, if you will, just people that are going for their own dream, making things happen. So today, wow, Mari, why don't you do a little bit of the introduction? I know you brought in a friend of yours.
That's
right there.
I have Dustin Felder to my left, and he is an acting coach to the stars, and myself as well, up-and-coming star.
Yeah, you are a star, right? Nobody denies that, I'm telling you.
No,
How to make it.
She's
right,
making
he's he will show you how to make it in America, folks.
Yeah.
So he is an acting coach, and he runs his own successful business. He has several clients that are doing really well, and he's actually trained with some of the Smith family for the Karate Kid, Jaden Smith. He was a coach to him.
Some of the Smith family, that would mean Jaden. So basically, Jaden's not going to be a star unless, okay.
You know what? It is what it is.
Thank you, Dustin. I actually met Dustin at a hosting showcase, and it was just an instant appreciation for what you do. And I have never taken an acting class, to be honest with you. So I really kind of wanted to get on this show an acting coach, who's familiar with this type of show. You say you watch it.
Absolutely.
So we're going to have like really good opinions on, you knowing the acting game. So
yes.
Feel free to critique these actors,
I do.
He will.
He's gonna let him
and
have
also,
it.
we brought a stylist, which actually helped me look a little better than I do normally.
Yes,
so.
she styled you for today's show. I saw you getting tips over there from her and her working it out. You look great. Thanks to Asia.
Thank you.
But we have Asia Franks with us today. Beautiful Asia Franks, stylist to the stars. And Asia has worked with several artists from Paulina to Usher to Paris Hilton, and the list goes on. But she also is her own personal stylist and personal shopper for individual people. So you turn to Asia for anything that you need. And she's my stylist as well.
Yeah. Asia, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling great.
When we invited you here, did you expect it to be all of this?
I didn't. This is pretty grand.
Good.
So.
Pretty like your eyes. Oh, okay.
Take it easy, right?
Smooth it down. I've been watching Cam on the show, so I'm just trying to emulate a little. Anyways,
Shoot your shot.
we have, to wrap up our guests here, we have the amazing T. Lopez. T. Lopez, originally from the group Soluna. They were a pop success. And she's actually the host on a great television show about positive Latinos, Latin Nation. T. Lopez joins us.
What up, everybody?
And you also sing a little bit.
I sing a little bit, just a little bit.
You may be on tour, with A.B. Quintanilla at any time.
I have been, but you know what? The whole time I was on the road, I made sure to DVR all the shows. I'm telling you, today, or when I got your call to come in, I was so excited about the show just because I watched the show. I know the show. I didn't even have to do my research because I'm like, I know it. I'm in. I'll do it. Whatever.
Good.
It's a dedicated viewer.
We like T. Lopez. She's definitely doing things too. But let's talk about this show. How to Make It in America. Jesse,
Oh my gosh.
Madi, why don't you guys start us off with a recap?
Get right into it. How can you not start without talking about Domingo and Rachel waking up in bed together?
Yeah, which is becoming her scene. She just has a lot of scenes where she starts off in the bed. Really.
I mean, the girl gets around. But she
flying.
she's so hot though. Like he gets away with it.
Yeah.
That's good. All
I
right.
was surprised that she kept I thought it was going to be the one-time thing, and they were going to realize, oh, what did we do?
Right.
You know, he's our, you know, it's her ex-boyfriend. Ben is her ex-boyfriend, and it's Domingo's friend. And then, to my surprise, there's this this episode, they're still in
The
bed
fair's
together.
still going on.
Yeah. We actually talked about that last week, how originally, if you remember from last episode, she wanted to kind of go and do what'd she say? I have to go to the ATM. That's what she had to do. She had to go to the
Right,
ATM.
she's trying to sneak away.
When Domingo said, hey, do you want to do breakfast? That was a comment she usually doesn't hear. So I think she's just into it because maybe a lot of gentlemen haven't really been a gentleman to her. She knows her old role.
But then at the same token, it looks like she's into him because it's the kind of bad boy thing. Like you wake up,
Exactly.
he's about to smoke
He's a left. You know, to what she's used to. She's kind of corporate. She does the right thing.
Yeah, right.
You know, Ben is like the guy she's supposed to be with. Domingo is a dog walker and weed seller. Like, it's just a completely a left turn.
But I mean,
you know?
I think every woman goes through their dog walking phase. I mean, everyone has that one guy that you're kind of like, what was I thinking? And so Rachel's probably going through that right now.
Asia, what'd you think?
You know what? I think he's a nice change for her. You know, something that kind of out of the norm. So
And the sex was probably really good too. You know,
that always helps.
Speaking of sex, though,
Speaking of sex, nice segue.
Speaking of good
Now
sex,
everyone who wasn't listening is really listening.
Renee, we cut to him getting some head. Right?
Yeah.
Whoa, we're going that edgy. Okay, cool. He was getting attention.
Fellatio, sorry.
Right.
Verbiage is. It's HBO, right? And then he gets a call talking about the video from the Rasta Monster got some hits.
Right.
And they're getting some, some product in stores and stuff, right?
Right.
Because of it. Well, he was a little worried about that from last episode. He was worried that big old scenario they put together was not going to be anything.
Right, but it turns out
we called it, right?
Yeah, it turns out that Wilfredo made a hit out of, the drink, and now everybody wants it. It can't stay on the shelves. And in the meanwhile, he's spending money on his girlfriend, Debbie, who he's now infatuated with, and buying her diamond earrings that he can't afford because he's actually still in debt.
Mistake number one, gentlemen. Mistake number one.
There was a whole lot of love relationship stuff going on in today's episode.
Yeah,
I did
this was
notice.
definitely a
So it was
lovey-dovey
like
one.
it was like I was writing notes for the show, but then I was like, oh, there's other notes to be written. You
Right,
know, it was
right.
very on point with it. Any thoughts, anybody on that?
It was crazy because it's like you said, there's so much relationship stuff going on that you're not so used to seeing with the show. Because this show for me is, I love watching the hustle.
Yeah.
But
Right,
then
the
you
grind.
see, Ben was with Rachel, but now Rachel's with Domingo, and now, I forget the girl's name who's in the showroom.
The showroom.
The showroom, the one that
Cam.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's Lulu.
And now they're together.
Yeah.
And it seems like more than just he just wanted to hit it. Like they're
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
no,
he's
he's
definitely
definitely feeling Lulu. So in this episode, it showed that he's getting closer with Lulu, and he's also developing a relationship with their father that's becoming beneficial because now
Right.
he's using his place for photo shoots, and he's starring in his lookbooks.
Yeah, by chance.
Right.
Yeah.
You Marty made a really good point about last week how you thought Cam obviously likes the dad because he wants to make an impression on
Right.
Lulu, but there might be something more there in the
Right.
sense that Cam doesn't really have
A family.
No, a father figure, yeah. Someone that he looks up to because a lot of his family are either in the streets or,
Exactly.
and so this guy is cool.
Is a positive figure
Exactly,
too.
and he likes him. So every man wants an older man to look up to. And so you're seeing Cam's kind of like progression.
Right.
From just fun time Cam to see a little bit more in depth and with.
And I
his,
feel like the
his
people that are
relationships.
watching the show now and didn't get to see season 1 of Cam, don't be robbed. Go back and watch
Right.
season
Oh,
1 because
definitely.
you may look at Cam and be like, oh, he's not really. No.
No.
Season 1, he was
Cam
really.
is a G.
Yeah,
He is
yeah.
gangster. He hustles.
Do we like the storyline of Lulu and Cam? Do we like that? The
I do.
pursuing?
I do. I think it's cute. I think it's different. I think we definitely wouldn't expect him with someone like Lulu. She's different. She's eclectic and artistic and, just outside of his normal box, too. I think everybody right now is dating outside of their box.
Yeah.
And I think last season Cam would have dated her just to get closer to her father,
Right.
And I feel like
True.
the difference in this season is that he actually genuinely is with her because he digs her and he likes her. And by surprise, she has a really cool dad,
Yeah.
Whose
where-
place they need for a photo shoot.
Just
should
so
happen.
happens,
Just throwing that out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, you may take advantage of what you have. So,
Exactly.
But I appreciate where the tone of the show is going. I understand that it's supposed to be a show about hustling and grinding out and getting your business. But I feel like in normal reality, we get distracted every single day with
sometimes life
relationships
gets in the way.
and love.
They said that on the show too.
Yeah, I mean it's something naturally that happens, and every single one of us can relate to.
And it's not a bad thing, It shows balance of life,
Yeah.
Every episode was the same thing. where would the show go after 3 seasons?
Well,
yeah.
and honestly, like when they did the relationship stuff, it did take like someone like me and you. We went to this zone of like, oh, this is not what we expected.
Right.
But boy, as we're gonna get to the end of the recap, they buttoned it up pretty good. I mean, they went back to all the bells and whistles you were used to. They did get back to that.
Real quick, I want to talk about Rachel having a hostile listening phase.
Yes.
That's
What does
hilarious.
that even mean?
Yeah.
She does look pretty aggressive.
I
Her
loved
face
that
just
comment.
looks
I think none of you
angry.
have a hostile listening phase.
She got a pretty face. How about that?
You know, it's funny because me being an acting coach, when I give notes to actors, everyone has a different reaction. So I think some people sometimes think I have to make the most serious, I'm listening face, and I think that's kind of what she got caught up in. And then when someone points it out, it's like, what? And so it's just kind of funny because in my world, I see that happen all the time.
So did she give a good hostile listening face?
It was great. It was
Sorry, we give her props
Acting
for that.
coach
She
approved.
meant business.
Yeah. It was definitely coach approved.
All right, but we see her having trouble at work, and the boss lady comes in saying people will kill for this job.
Yes.
I mean, literally kill. How many
Right.
times have we heard that
They-
in whatever industry
Yeah.
you're in, you know?
Yeah, it's relatable, right? I would say a
absolutely.
lot of
Yes.
bosses have always kind of threatened you with the whole "you better be thankful," and you are thankful. So that's why I feel like it's a sort of a tough comment. Although, is she thankful? We don't really know with her because Rachel is a little, loopy right now.
It's so funny how it turned around from the first season, because in the first season she's the more together one.
Right.
She's in the business. She
Yeah,
likes
the
doing
decorating,
it. She's
yeah.
decorating, and Ben is the one who's kind of out of trying to run around, figure out what he can do to make a buck and figure out what he can do to make his name in America.
Yeah.
And now he's doing his thing, and
Right. And she doesn't have it together.
Yeah,
She's
she doesn't.
Which is totally, like you said,
Yes.
true to life. You talk
Absolutely.
about
Yeah.
distraction,
Absolutely.
hustle,
I
and
mean,
then life.
look at who she's
Exactly.
with, Domingo.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, I mean, it only makes sense at this point in her life for her to be with him. And she doesn't know what she wants at this point.
And just
I love that about her character in this particular season.
Hey, but guys,
Yeah.
all right. Is it cool that Domingo asked Ben about the whole date thing, or do you think he should have just came out and said?
I think I have a very strong opinion about this.
Go for
Okay.
it. And I want
tell.
to hear Asia's opinion too,
Yes.
because
I think in relationships,
But as the homie, you know what I mean?
right. Well, but the thing is that you obviously know he's going to be sensitive about that. So
Yeah.
it's almost like you told him too much information. Now you thought you were doing the right thing, but
Right.
sometimes you don't even know where the relationship is going. You guys are just having fun.
Right.
It could be dead and it's happened and it's over with, but now you guys are beefing, and so sometimes I've just learned in my life, just keep your mouth closed about certain
I was
things.
saying it wasn't anything to really start talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No, it was just a couple drive-bys.
So you would hide that.
Asian pretty girl, what do you think about that
I
whole
don't
thing?
know. That's debatable, I would say. It depends on the dynamic of the friendship. So that's definitely debatable. I think that he put the other friends in a compromising
Yeah, I agree.
situation
Yes.
by, kind of not saying anything or letting them,
Kind of
just-
in on it first.
Yeah,
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 that
He
was-
should have addressed it with Ben. And I think that
most definitely.
it kind of sucks too that when Domingo did try to be somewhat of a man about it and come to him, Ben gave him this whole "she wouldn't want you anyways," as opposed to saying,
Yeah.
"I'm really not comfortable with it, homie. Like, can you
Exactly.
just step
Right,
back?"
because the thing is that that's your old girl, so you don't want to seem like a punk or a
Right.
clown,
you're
like
still
no, I don't
into
want
it,
you to.
yeah.
Yeah, you want to be cool about it, but then also give you little jabs there and there. Here
That
and
was
there.
a jab. That was a little jab. That was a big
That was
Big,
jab.
a
big,
jab.
like, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he goes and tries to be a little sneaky. Oh, now you want to go to the wedding with Rachel?
Yeah.
Remember, this is the person
Yeah.
who makes you sick to your stomach last episode.
Yeah.
And so now, let's take the train together. Let's dance. Let's do the whole wedding crashers thing, and yeah.
I think it's interesting how, like you said, that maybe you might not know where the relationship is going, so you're not really going to bring it up like that. Like, I really, really, might want to do something. So Domingo kind of left it alone after that. But I thought it was interesting how Rachel was the one to tell
to
tell
tell
Ben.
Ben.
Oh yeah, that threw
look,
me off.
This
she
is
saw
who I
Ben
like.
kind of catching some feelings back, and
Right.
I think Ben more feels threatened than really misses Rachel.
Right.
I think it's more of an
Right.
ego thing.
It's a man protecting his
territory.
right.
Yeah, because the man, when he's with a woman, in his mind, that's his property in a sense, and even if they break up, whatever. So that was just him being kind of passive aggressive male,
That word
It's
keeps coming up. Passive aggressive.
passive-
But what
Yeah.
wasn't passive aggressive was this scene right here. I really want to cut to it real quick because we're watching it. He just asked him, "Hey, can I rent your apartment or whatever it is?" And he's like, "Well, you got to win it." We're like, "What
Yeah.
in the
What's
gonna
world?"
happen?
And
Right.
bam,
Well,
cut to wrestling.
Well, explain
Like,
what it
the-
is. So basically, Ben and Cam need to get their lookbook together because obviously Ben went to go meet with Miss Nancy
Right.
again. Let's see what's going to happen with that.
Right.
And the lookbook had themselves. Now, you could be the fashion girl and tell us what that's about. A lookbook should not
Lookbook.
have you value in it? I mean, is that kind of, I don't know really.
Technically, yeah, that I completely agree. Lookbooks should not have the actual designers in it. I think they accomplished what they were trying to do by adding a different person in the lookbook.
So you should hire
most
friends.
Definitely.
Like
friends,
what do you guys
models. Think? I mean, just somebody different.
I admire the honesty when he said, "Oh, we don't really have money to do that."
Right.
Exactly.
And then what do you necessarily do with the lookbook? That's something that you're supposed to use to shop around for people who aren't into fashion. How would they know?
You would need your lookbook in order to show to sales reps, buyers, just to kind of showcase your line.
Okay.
So it's something that's updated every season.
Yeah.
So it's very key in getting a line out.
And it's
there.
funny how it transitions because I didn't know that. But in film, because I produce as well, when you're pitching a TV show or a film, it's good to always have a lookbook, which are kind of images of the world that you're trying to create, so that someone can see it and say, "Oh, okay, I get more of an idea." More of a visual of. So when I heard lookbook, that was the first thing I thought.
And so then we move into, like we were talking about, Cam does talk to the dad, building that relationship that they have, which is, of course, for his career, to profit his career, because they do need a great location. But it's also to, kind of getting good with that dad is what it's seeming like.
And while he's getting good with the dad, he's getting good with Lulu.
Yeah.
He got lucky. Him and Lulu this episode hit it off.
Yeah. I just had a question. They had like outfits, and it was like different colors. So it was just like, it was like teams. I was just threw me off for a second.
We're hearing moans and groans. We didn't know what was really going on.
Just the fact that he has like separate outfits that fit him. It was just kind of interesting. But funny.
Jess, what do we have next?
We got to Rene is having money problems at this point. So what was up with that? I just didn't understand that.
So apparently Rene's goons, as we would call them, haven't been handling their accounting very well. And so now Rene has to come out of his own pocket $30,000 in order to fund Rasta Monsta because there's such a high order of shipment that needs to be made. But because people aren't paying their debt, he's going to have to start being, physical now and go back to the old Rene and lay hands on people in order to get this money.
So he goes back to the liquor store and kind of manhandles the guy, this young kid who's the new CEO.
Debbie
apparently.
for the earrings back.
Oh yeah, girls, I know you all.
Wait, Asia, was that insulting or was that not insulting?
So insulting, and the fact that he tried to bribe her with fake ones. She's a smart girl though. She was like, "It's not happening."
I wouldn't attempt that.
I
wouldn't attempt that.
She's like, "No
Bad
way,
move.
not going."
Bad move, especially because in the last episode, she was like, look, if, he was complaining, it seems like God doesn't want me to do this the right way. It seems like I always have to go back to this, hood way of doing things.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to do the right thing. And she told him she would be by his side no
Right.
matter
She
what.
said that.
Why not come to her and be honest and be like,
Right,
babe,
just be honest.
Well, because men have to present a certain image, especially Rene. It's like, I got it, and his ego was in the way of the reality,
Right.
The
male ego.
Yeah, and it's interesting
How do you guys
how
get through the day with it?
I'm a good one. But yeah, that is a conflict that he definitely was dealing
and the
with.
guy doesn't want to look bad in front of his lady,
And he's into her.
Yeah, and
he
that's
loves
it.
her. And she's hot. And
She's
she's a good
good.
woman.
Yeah.
She's
She's
like,
good
Papi,
for
what do you want me to
him.
make you?
Yeah.
Whatever you need. Like, she caters to him.
Yeah.
He's bent over backwards for her, and it's just that idea of like, I can't do it, even though some guys just say, "Hey, baby, I need those earrings back,"
Right.
but it's temporary.
He's got a lot of pride.
Yeah, and it was an explainable situation. And if she was really riding for him or with him, I think she would have been able to take it. But because he lied and skirted
Multiple
the truth,
times.
yeah,
In Debbie's defense, he's lied multiple times.
and so
He put a big booty billboard of her when he promised that it would be her breakout modeling role.
I was gonna say real quick, she also talks a couple times about, you're just like the other losers. Like
Right.
she's brought that up at least 3 different times.
Yeah, that was kind of
clearly she's never been with really anyone quality. So,
Right.
and she's kind of forcing him to be quality.
right.
But that was mean of her, I feel like, to put him down like
To throw
that.
it in his
Yeah,
face.
because
But it's not even like that, is what he would say.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's the title of the episode. Also, Ben is getting chummy with Rachel at the wedding.
Yeah.
I don't.
I feel like they're both. I mean, like you said, I think Ben is a little bit. What was the word you used?
Passive aggressive?
No,
No.
it just feels like.
It's his property. Like
Yeah, like
that's
it's his property. And at the same time, I think she is just, I don't know if she really likes Domingo. I
No.
think it's this little thing that she has that she's still kind of stay in the
Yeah.
Ben circle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just maybe there's just that little
He's
thing.
Mr.
'cause
Right
even the
now.
even the first episode when she took pictures with the girlfriend at the shoot or
Yeah,
whatever.
what was that?
It was just like that very passive aggressive way to stay in his world. you know, without
I thought
staying in his world.
I thought she got a kick out of the sentence when he goes, "Oh, so are you seeing anybody?" I thought she got super excited to be like, I might be.
Yeah.
Like she was really and
Come out with Cowboy Rudy.
She didn't care who the guy was. She just wanted to say, I am.
Right.
Somebody's interested in me.
Yeah, exactly. Because you could have very easily, that relationship isn't a relationship. You know, you could have just said no.
Well, no, I think it was out of guilt. I don't think it was so much her being proud of it. I think she was feeling guilty. I mean, that's how I felt her reaction was kind of like, I might as well just say something.
I think maybe a little bit of guilt, but also a little bit of let me tell you this to see how you feel about it, to see if maybe it might come back for me.
Because he was feeling her and she picked that up.
Yeah.
Personally, I think Domingo should have waited longer before he tried to step to her. I think he broke the guy code.
Yeah.
I think so too.
The homie code, period.
But they were high
just
the
happened,
first time
though.
it happened.
It did just happen.
They're high every time they do it. He's like her supplier now.
And you remember, she kissed him first, you know.
Oh, yeah, in a previous
She kissed him
episode.
first and it was just like an innocent kiss. And they were on an elevator and he was
That's what I
there,
said,
you
like
know.
the one-time thing, and they were high, okay, but then they're still together this episode.
And I think we went back to go back earlier. You know, Domingo and Ben they're not best friends. You know, they're homies, but like, how tight are they really? You know, in the arc of a relationship, are they like we hang out with each other? You know, kind of thing.
It's like Ben, Cam, and
Domingo,
Capo, and Domingo.
Exactly.
It's like kind of an order.
I mean, they have like a little crew.
Yeah.
It's close enough to deserve an explanation, though.
You think? I just don't know if he needed an explanation.
Not an explanation, but at least like a heads up. You know?
I think so too, because I mean, if being in a relationship, I would want to know, like, hey, if this is a person that I'm going to see at all these different events that I'm going to, give me a heads up if you've been with this person, or I mean, I don't know, or if we're exes, but we were really, really involved, and now you know that this is a dude that like he kind of hangs around with. Give him a little bit of a heads up, because you don't want him to ever find out, and then now now he's been in a room feeling stupid because everybody knows something he doesn't know.
And you guys are giving Domingo a lot of credit here. He knew last episode he took off with Cam so that they could be there for him because it was Rachel's birthday. If somebody's that emotionally distraught about their ex-girlfriend's birthday, obviously they are still emotionally connected and not over their ex yet.
Exactly.
And then you go and sleep with them. Big mistake.
Yeah.
But I just think Domingo's not that guy that thinks that far down the line.
He's
You know,
not.
I think
He don't think too
he's
good.
really
He's a
the
dog
guy-
walker and a drug dealer.
and a
That's
drug
it.
dealer, like,
by the
you know,
moment.
and he has cards. Like, think about that. Like, you're convicting yourself of a crime by
Right.
having business cards saying I sell weed. So
He's the guy that makes the sentence, everyone needs to relax in the world.
Exactly,
So he's
yeah.
very free, very
And then we
chill.
throw in Capo,
Yes.
or was it Campbell?
Yeah.
Or
Capo.
Capo. All right, into the situation,
David
and
Kaplan,
he just
yeah.
comes out of left field of
When they're leaving,
storyline.
they're leaving the
wedding.
wedding, and Rachel is laying on Ben, and you think that Capo's gonna
think
say,
he's gonna reveal.
you think
the
Capo's
affair.
gonna say,
Yeah.
I have something to tell you,
Yeah.
Right.
and it's not about Rachel or Ben. What is it about? Jess, tell us, please.
He's having money problems. That's it. What more is there? You know
Right.
what I mean? Or the legal issue,
Legal.
right?
Legal
Yeah.
issues, yeah.
which can be money.
Yeah,
Right.
I already fast forwarded.
Yeah,
I
right.
saw his money problems right away.
I don't know if anyone else wanted to comment on this, but he did talk to Ben about what would you think if I did lose all my money? Would you be my
still
friend?
be
No. The quote that I pulled was, "Would you still be my friend if I was broke?" And right away, I thought of the 50 Cent song.
Me too.
21 Questions. I was like a fat kid loves cake. I was like, I was just like, yeah. I mean, how many times have we all asked a
man.
friend that question, or significant other, or anything? You know, it was just.
And it was
Well, it poses the question, like, how materialistic is everybody?
Right.
Sometimes you do have to bring things to the table, but then sometimes you have to sacrifice.
But you got to remember, that's how he kind of got in their
Restore
world.
his
He said,
money.
"I give you money, get me in the clubs." You know,
I
and
know, so it's got to hurt him.
Exactly.
bad.
Yeah. So it's like that kind of was the reason why Ben started hanging out with him. It
Yeah.
was very like give and take, but then they became buddies. And so Capo's just like, and I just to go back a step, I thought he had a really nice moment. Like for his arc, he had like this moment where he put, he had the standing ovation
Oh, at the
wedding
he made a
speech.
speech at the wedding.
At the wedding, started off really bad, and then and then to go from that to say, I might be going to jail. Can we still be buddies?
Yeah.
Well, he started out bad because he was reading his, a little
Right.
note that he picked, and it wasn't authentic. It wasn't really him.
Right.
We all laughed out loud. I remember when we were
Yeah,
watching that. We're
Well,
like,
because it was a whole room looking at somebody doing a wedding speech, and
Yeah.
it was like cricket. So that's never good.
I just personally, the reason why I laughed at it, I was at my brother's wedding. I was in my brother's wedding, best man, and I told him he was my hero at the speech. And it was just a weird moment. I was like, "You're my hero," and everybody was like,
Hero music.
"Oh yeah." It was just like, I used to beat me up, and but it was just you don't know what to say sometimes.
I just thought it was great, a great shot when you pan to him outside alone, and it's like all quiet, and then you see him go in, and you're following like behind the wall, and then bam, like a crowd. I mean, how many of us have felt that where you're just like you feel alone, like you've got nothing, and then bam, you're stuck on.
Getting emotional in this episode.
But he says, if I was broke and he tries to give him the watch, I would have taken the watch.
Yeah,
I'm a shallow guy like that.
They're trying to make it in America.
And he kind of let you know how much the watch was worth. He said you could pay your rent for the next 3 years. So,
but what Ben should have replied with when he offered him the watch and when he said like, "Will you still be my friend if I'm broke?" He should have said, "Yeah, I mean, we deal with Rene and he went to jail and we still borrow money from him."
He did say that though, right?
yeah.
He did make the comment that, I'm definitely down for you, right?
He did, but I'm saying they obviously deal with people who have records and they're still friends with them because they're still borrowing money from someone like Rene. And so,
but I think
they can still borrow
Kaplan
from Kaplan.
ultimately wasn't thinking about that aspect, whether or not they would like somebody who's like a criminal. He was more like, gosh, I was not your guys' friend. Even, when he met him at the Barney's, that girl, Natalia, was not his girl. That was a paid girl.
Exactly.
So he's kind of used to a world, and it's going to get ripped from him.
And Capo, just as far as his character, has always had to pay to get acceptance. So he's that guy who has to pay to get in, and so he's paying for his friends in a sense.
I definitely enjoy it because I think in this business, like, as much as I've tried to do what I've tried to do like 10 years or whatnot, it's like I do see people go on the ups and downs. Not saying criminally necessarily, but that's been there too. It's just nice to see because that is another we talk about. This episode was the true to life show, really.
Right.
Because I've seen that, and then it's like certain people diss other people now because they're not really somebody or whatever, and that's a hard
And then the show
thing.
just gets really. You were looking for it to like get a little bit edgier and right, or what were we saying? And I think it's getting a little bit more gritty, and you see it with Rene choking out the liquor store owner. You see it when Ben and Rachel are walking home, and it's that awkward moment of like, all right, are they kissing? Are they going indoors? Are they splitting?
Yeah.
Like what did happen? I missed the line that Ben said when he walked off.
He just left. He said bye. He said, "Have a nice night," and walked away. It was just kind of like,
And then he addressed it with Domingo because Domingo was going to do the shoot for him, and then left him hanging. And so they were.
Did we expect? I didn't expect Ben to get that angry. Did you guys expect that?
I did.
You did.
I definitely did.
Okay, well,
I didn't expect Domingo to walk off though. I mean, we see him walking away, and just there it is.
Wow,
I think it's funny. I didn't expect Cam to come at Domingo as hard as he did. And so it was like. It was like quick aggression, you know. Then at first I was like, why did he, how does he even know that? But then I had to remember.
Cam was in the middle because Cam knew this information but never told Ben. And so Ben not only got mad at Rachel, not only got mad at Domingo, but also gets mad at Cam for the loyalty issue.
And it's not even like that.
It's not even like that.
But Cam was put in a hard spot because that's really not his business, and you do more harm than good sometimes when you jump in a situation.
It's like Domingo needed to keep his mouth shut.
Domingo should have just kept his mouth shut, let the relationship. But I think to go back, I think Domingo just liked her. Yeah. And I think he was just fun for her, but he liked her. And so I think that's what compelled him to do that because you have never seen him that thoughtful, to ask a question.
So it's exciting because now we don't know Domingo, they exchange word F you, a lot. So we don't know where Domingo will be.
Yeah.
And obviously we'll see him on the show because he might be with Rachel is what we'll see. So that interesting relationship, I am interested to see.
And regardless, they do the photo shoot. They get the lookbook done.
Yeah.
How do they get the lookbook done? They do it with
what's his
Lulu's
name?
father.
Lulu's father.
We'll
Does he have a name? This is Lulu's father.
Which actually turned out pretty hot. Like
it did look.
I was going to ask you, lookbook girl. Did it turn out hot because it was so like ironic and different? Was that kind of a deal? Was that kind of the thing?
It's not cliche. It's something that was just it's cut. I don't know. It's very edgy and just something that's not you wouldn't expect it.
And he's cool. And he's an older guy and he's cool.
If he sold a $2 million painting off of Pinky, he's got there's some mystique.
Right. So, and it's just like he has that kind of cool,
It's something special about it. I'm definitely feeling it.
But then you flash forward to Ben at the photo print shop.
Right.
And I don't know about you guys, but like this just put me in my place of like, I remember being at a print shop, printing essays or photos or resumes, whatever. And you're just like.
Needs to be perfect.
Exactly. And he gets it done and he calls Capo and just, I don't know, what did that signify? Like, just keep your connections.
I'm wondering if he's thinking, nobody else is really my friend anymore. Is that why he's into Capo, or is he just being like really loyalty to everything Capo's done for him? I don't know.
I think it's that loyalty, and Ben is just at the end of the day is a good guy, and he sees a guy that's vulnerable, and he might feel like, man, this guy. Like Cam, I don't know what I'm getting sometimes with him. You know, Domingo,
Yeah.
I definitely don't know what I'm getting with him. Rachel, I definitely don't know. You know, at least this guy, he really feels like I'm his friend, and I feel like that's my friend too. So there's a little bit of vulnerability. I'm interested to see where Kaplan's going to go in the next couple episodes. You know, because
Well, he's the financial dude for Chris, right?
well, yeah, he put
was
up part
one
of
of
the
the-
money.
yeah,
Yeah, the
him and
initial
Rene.
guys. Yeah,
But it's still there's still the connection there. Like if he gets in financial trouble,
Oh yeah.
It directly affects.
That's the scary part because it's not just hey we're friends, are you still gonna be my friend? It's like hey this might affect
you're protecting your
business.
investment. You know,
this,
your
is, this is
investor.
going to affect
Exactly.
Chris,
Right,
you know.
that's true.
And sometimes it happens like that when you know someone you have a certain relationship with them. You want to work a little bit harder to make sure that they're okay. You
Right.
know, and
I think he authentically cares, though,
Yeah.
if Capo's doing okay. I think
I
that was
feel
like
that way.
genuine. I saw it in his face. He
Right.
was like, leaned over, like, really asking
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of doing his project. He stopped and took time
Right.
to see how his friend was feeling.
So that wraps up our, the little
Recap.
recap there. We're going to
Yeah,
jump to a
a lot to say
commercial
about
in
that.
1 second. And of course, Spicy Madi has an entertainment report. So I'm excited to hear about
I
that, which is
do.
going to encompass a How to Make It in America cast and crew profile, which we'll do every week.
Right, exactly. Each time we'll shout out a certain cast member, and this time we're going to focus on Debbie, who's Andrea Navarro.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. That way
Can't
we
wait.
can know like what their history, what other roles they've been in or whatnot. Before we go to commercial, real quick, I'd like to ask our three movers and shakers. Jesse, I developed two great questions. At least
And those I have right here.
I thought they were great. Ask these guys because I'd love to get your opinion.
All right, do you guys think that the show does justice for those that are trying to make their dreams a reality?
Either of you jump right in, yeah, or all three of you.
I think so. You know, as a business owner, it's not easy. You know, you have to have a lot of faith, and then on top of that, they have a partnership. And the partnership isn't always in one accord. You know,
Right.
one person has one idea of it, another person. You see how Cam showed up late to a meeting,
Right.
and the Gina Gershon character said, you're late, but been a rapper. You know, just kind of that. And so, and then they were beefing about their personal stuff, and so it really shows that struggle. And then you feel like then with like Rene, you feel like I got somewhere. And as soon as I get there, I feel like I took a step and a half back. You know, and so as a business owner, it feels like that a lot of
Yeah.
times. You know, it's me personally, I worked on a great movie. Okay, I'm broke. You know,
Yeah.
or I have to.
Opportunity versus like the financial. It's
Absolutely.
always-
Do you ladies have any relatable stories?
Oh, most definitely. I'm actually working on a line myself, and I have a partner, so I can definitely relate to it. It is finances is one of the main things that you need to keep your establishment going, and this is something that they're struggling with as well, and lookbooks and models and all that. So it's definitely something.
This is like your show then.
I mean,
if there was ever a reality spinoff, I think
Right.
you should be casted.
Most
Yeah,
definitely.
hey.
Most definitely.
T, I've known T for 10 years, so I've seen so much of her, ups, downs, or whatever. Mostly ups, because you are always doing good things. But what do
No,
you?
but I mean, it's the same thing. It's major ups and major downs, and I think this very special thing about the United States of America is that you can make anything happen. But I mean, some people are the kind of person that I am, and the reason why I relate to the show is you're either all in or nothing.
Right.
Like there is no plan B, but that's not for everybody. But
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what these dudes are doing. I mean, it's like you said, one day you're completely broke, the next day you make the biggest connection ever.
Right.
And if you really, really want to make your
that was
stamp
good.
Yeah.
in America, I mean, that's the only way to go. It's not like how it is in every other country where you got to kind of go from the bottom, and some people do here, but really the way to get your name out is to do something big here, and that's what everybody I think is always trying to do. That's what we learn.
Yeah.
What do you guys find is the number one motivating source to continue to do it? I know with T, I know her mother, so it's kind of like, I know you talk about family. She's an IE girl, that's your driving force, obviously. You've talked about it many times.
For me, it is because it's. I mean, I don't know how. It's like this for me and a lot of people that I know. When I came up, I mean, I came up in the hood. I was born to two 14-year-old drug dealers who then turned their lives around, and now they do stuff to help the community to prevent them from going through what they went through. And I want to be able to take care of them, to
Right.
help. Like that's me, and I mean, I want to get to a place where I can have it not be about me. It's not just
Yeah.
about me,
Yeah.
but if I can be in the position in order to kind of help bring my family up and my culture up.
I
then I'm
always say
gonna do
that, like if I get my first big check, it's not even for me.
Right. It's-
I'll live in my
you
cheap
know where
apartment
it's
I live
going.
in
I'm not
now, but
gonna
I would
see
like
it.
to buy my mom and
I'll
dad
take that
something.
lunch off you, Ronnie. Don't worry.
Money is one thing, but career opportunity is another. We got so much more to talk about, the Spicy Madi Entertainment Report, but let's do a commercial real quick. And you guys are watching the after show, AfterBuzz, for How to Make It in America. Jesse Janity, hit us with the commercial, please,
The
sir.
biggest new media platform on the web just got bigger. More bandwidth, Smoother streaming, lightning fast download.
Don't get technical with me.
AfterBuzz TV is making the jump to hyperspace. Join the fun at your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Look at the size of that thing.
AfterBuzz TV.
We're back. How to Make It in America. Once again, shout out to our Ustream audience and our iTunes audience. We definitely appreciate it. You are watching the How to Make It in America after show on AfterBuzzTV.com. We are so appreciative. Once again, my name is Ronnie Jr. I'm joined by Spicy Marty, our social media guru nerd, Jesse F. Daniels, acting coach Dustin Felder, Asia Franks, stylist, designer, and the triple threat T. Lopez, music, singing, everything like that. Jesse Janity, I think we have an entertainment report that Spicy Marty is about to get spicy with, right?
Yep, I got some news for us.
TV news.
Ooh.
I love the way that sounds.
Yeah, you're official now. Woo, you plugged in.
All right, so we were mentioning, talking about Nancy earlier, how Ben had that little meeting with her and
Yes.
how Cam didn't make it on time. And so in a report, an interview that Cam had given,
With the actor is Victor Razoo.
correct, Victor had given to Buzz, Buzz.com, was that if we stay tuned, there's a possibility that Nancy may be trying to cut him out of the business deal.
Oh, okay, so that goes further than what we thought.
He hinted at that, saying that there's a possibility that Nancy might not involve him.
Okay.
And so he was like, you know, you gotta just keep watching and see. And I kind of felt that from her
Right.
when she gave him the cold shoulder. So that was from his mouth, not mine.
And that kind of happens with the music groups where they're like, okay, the three of you are good.
Right.
But that, or vice versa, like the group is 4 and we're just going to take that solo artist.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, I want to see that. Nice little preview. Okay, good.
One of my favorite characters on the show, Domingo,
Yeah.
also known as Kid Cudi. That's
Yeah.
how we know him best. He is been reported having beef with Wale, who's an additional rapper, and we can all rejoice and be happy to know that they have squashed the beef, and they have recorded together. Yeah, I know.
Freedom at last. Freedom at last.
Breathe. But there was a report that he had denied Wale's credibility as an artist, and that him and Kanye had worked together, saying that, you know, they weren't really working with Wale like that. And so Kid Cudi and Wale have made up and they're friends again, and Wale has actually said that he's happy that Kid Cudi, who was going through some drug problems for a while and depression dealing with his ex-girlfriend, they are happily back together now. And
Yeah.
so his spirits have been lifted, and he really attributes that to Kanye also helping him bring him out of that dark place he was in.
I like Kid Cudi's real story as much as I like Domingo's story.
Isn't he interesting?
He
And
did-
does a great job.
Real quick, what do you guys think of Kid Cudi? This is a great role for him. We all
I think
said.
this is an amazing role for him. I actually like him as an artist. He feels like a little bit, because he gets in a little bit into trouble, but he's not a bad guy. He feels almost like Dennis the Menace. Dennis the Menace, like in real life, but I think this is a great character for him, and he fits right in. You can tell that they brought him in more the second season.
You think his acting is on point?
I think it's a little over the top sometimes, but I actually love where he goes. A little too many hand gestures for me, but I get the character, and I think he does a great job with it. And the look and like the whole brand presentation of that character is right on point.
Right.
Especially being like rapper gone actor.
Yeah.
That's kind of, tough for them sometimes.
And it was kind of like kind of came out of nowhere, because I know the first couple episodes you're like, is that Kid Cudi? And so
in the first season they were quick little roles.
Yeah.
Now it's we get a storyline with him.
absolutely.
We know about his character.
And he was one person I wanted to see more in the show. So I was glad
good.
to see him. Yeah.
Well, the producers must have been listening
They
to your
were.
thoughts.
I was.
And so also we have Rachel, who's Lake Bell.
Lake Bell, who's known as the boob girl this week on Twitter.
Right. She's kind of like, all over the place, kind of dingleberry. But she is similar to her character on the show in real life. Bentley allowed her to test drive the 2012 Bentley for 8 days. She did not crash it, but when she went to return it 8 days later, the bumper was missing. And she couldn't explain I don't know where you lose a Bentley bumper. But
Lord
she
knows I know.
had no explanation.
We can all relate to that one. Yeah.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had to return it with the bumper missing. And so she wasn't sure whether to be proud that she drove it so hard into the ground or whether to, blame herself for, driving kind of recklessly and if there was potholes in the road.
This was definitely her week for press. I seen her on tons of interviews. She was on Jimmy Kimmel. I think it was the week of interviews because this was post her nudity, topless scene. She had a really fun comment on Twitter. Jesse, do you have that available?
Yeah, my boobs are appreciative of all your kind, lavicious words. After all, it's solid support that they'll keep them perky.
Oh,
Support,
hashtag
right?
what? Though?
Oh, hashtag. Can't forget the hashtags.
Don't forget the hashtag, Jess.
Hashtag how to make it. Hashtag sorry, dad.
I like the humor. I like the playfulness.
Right.
You know. That's always a
personality.
conflict if women are gonna go topless on a show. So
They're good.
I mean, they
Her
look
boobs are good.
awesome.
yeah, we all agreed
I'm
on that.
inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
No question. Yeah, she was good. She was solid.
But you know what? It wasn't like in a slutty way. It wasn't like
no,
a
it was in a, she just
distasteful way. Yeah.
she just got out the bed, and
Yeah,
that's.
she just
You
got her
wake up
some.
and-
You know, putting her
I think
clothes
it
back on.
sold. It was great to see, but I also think it sold the vulnerability and the scare. Like she was very weird in that moment, and it kind of helped, you know.
Then she kind of plays like a goofy, silly character. So when you do get to see a little bit of nudity, then it brings us back to, oh yeah, she's sexy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, she wears those big jackets, and you had no
Right.
clue.
Right.
Yeah. So.
She has an aggressive face. Oh, but her boobs, she's
Yeah.
sexy.
That's,
What else do we have for your entertainment report
So
here?
that cuts it for the entertainment, but we also want to give some background on Debbie.
Yeah, every week we want to do a How to Make It in America cast and crew profile. So Debbie is with Rene on the show.
Right. Debbie is getting a lot of more, playtime on the show. She is Renee's new interest, and her real name is Andrea Nevada, and she's originally from New York. And East Coast, and she has been in films previously, like El Cantante with Jennifer Lopez. We've seen her in that, and then we also saw her in Girl 6 by Spike Lee.
Oh, okay.
And so we probably don't,
Yeah,
recognize her immediately because some of
Takes
these projects are
years
older.
and years and years to
But
get on.
now,
Yeah.
we see her face and we're like, oh, HBO, How to Make It in America.
Yeah. I like her character. I think she's great for the show. I think she's great for Rene.
Right, and her landing, this huge series shows the progression. You get these roles, and you still don't have a name. And now
Yeah.
she's just years later getting a name, and that's how you make it in
Yeah.
America. You
Yeah.
grind out till we know who you are.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, that wraps up our entertainment report. Moving along, you are, of course, listening to the How to Make It in America AfterBuzz After Show. Jesse F. Daniels, we were talking earlier about doing kind of like a Twitter social media wrap-up of everything that's going on, because Brian Greenberg has a Twitter. That's Ben on the show.
Yeah.
Lake Bell has a Twitter. Ian Edelman, he's got a Twitter. He's the executive producer, one of the executive producers on the show. Did you find
well, it's
anything?
interesting because Brian Greenberg was recently on this MTV show When I Was 17.
Yeah.
And he's tweeting a lot about that. And it's interesting. I watched one of the episodes and he talks about how he was fired as the school's public announcer.
Oh,
So you
I
know-
did that for a living. Not for a living. I did that for Nathaniel Narbonne High School. Yeah, I definitely did that.
Foreshadowing.
I did. Yeah.
AfterBuzz.
Well, it's funny because I watched that same episode. It was on MTV.com,
Uh-huh.
and he was talking about, we were in charge of doing announcements, but we had to make it fun. I didn't necessarily make it fun when I did it, but I made sure that everyone I shouted out to a degree was like showing me support. So I think there was that radio shout out mentality that I had back
had it
in
way back then.
Back at 17, 16 years old.
There it is.
Yeah.
Shout it out. And HBO tweeted out this, which Brian Greenberg retweeted, which
Okay.
makes me think, like, will Rachel come between Ben and Domingo? I think HBO is just trying to push this
Absolutely.
relationship
Feud.
thing. Exactly. And then we know that Lake Bell tweeted about her boobs.
Yes, she did. She did.
And then Louis Guzman is tweeting out Bruno Mars and Barack Obama and all that to watch the show. So
Wait, what is he doing?
he's just adding people.
Oh, so he's telling people to watch those
Yeah,
kind of people.
exactly.
Wow,
And you'll be surprised, the
great.
show is actually doing really good. It's holding up in
Yes.
comparison to Entourage because
Yeah,
it's by
talk
the
about
same
that.
it's by the exact same people.
Yeah.
And if we've
Julian
seen
Farino
one
directs.
Marky Mark project, you think you've seen them all. But
Yeah.
really, this has a little bit more edgier of a twist. And so they're saying that it's a little bit even more authentic and relatable than Entourage was. And so we hope
Yes.
to continue seeing it, seasons to come, because now you're dealing with actual real struggle, whereas opposed
Oh
to the
my God, I
Entourage
love
crew
it.
was, Vincent trying to figure out if he should take this role, or, oh, I can't believe, I have to take $1 million pay cut.
I mean, to see Vince with the groupies is great. Chilling at Earth Cafe, it's all great, and we're in Los Angeles, so we sort of possibly do some of that stuff.
Right.
But I mean, it just got so tired.
But then you'd also
Yeah.
take Broke Mogul, who's the music
Scott
supervisor
Venner,
for
yes.
Entourage and How to Make It in America. And he's
and 90210.
yes,
I
that's
do my
pretty-
homework. Yeah.
and he's tweeting out, what's your favorite song off the How to Make It in America mixtape?
Oh, I got some choices.
Yeah.
I love the last one. I love the DuckTales, which is killing the vibe.
He
Definitely,
retweeted someone who had my favorite, which was Levels by Avicii.
Oh, it's a great song.
That's a great song. It's
Yes.
hitting in the clubs right now.
Yeah. That's a cool job. Music,
Yeah.
super. Oh, look, can we talk about music real quick?
We didn't talk about it.
I love the song "I'm So Proud," and there is a movie that I stand by as "I'm So Proud." To... I thought you were gonna join me.
No, I can't sing.
No, we're not doing
Solo. I'm committing.
There you go.
Got an actor career in me.
Commit. There you go.
No, that song. First thing I thought of was kind of off topic from this show, but another great New York City, the Bronx.
Yes.
That song was in the Bronx Tale, which to me is one of the best movies out there.
I still quote a line from that. The worst thing in the world is wasted talent. You
Oh,
know, and
yeah.
that line I still use.
Well,
that,
you know
so.
what's kind of interesting about that? In season 1, when Ben goes and talks to his old teacher, he says, "You always had the talent. Your follow through was a little shaky bakey." So a lot of the things that we like on these other movies actually do transcend into this. Can we? Do you have any more Twitter stuff, real quick?
That's it.
Let's pass around the question: Entourage comparisons versus How to Make It in America, knowing that executive producer Mark Wahlberg's on the project. Ian Edelman is, definitely directing, and he's done a lot of the writing for this. And Julian Farino. It's like a lot of the same team. What do you guys think about the comparisons of the two shows?
I think the pace in which the shows go are similar. You know, I love when you go to New York City, it's just a different kind of pace. I mean, in Entourage, they're pulled up in a car, and you know, How to Make It in America, they're walking, you know, on the train. But I love the pace, and I really feel like the music drives the shows.
Yeah.
You know, just even from that Aloe Black, I need a dollar, like that song.
Which never gets old.
That never gets old. It's a song you can listen to a million times. And I started following him because of that song, you know, because of it being played on. And so I think the music has a big part to do with both of those shows and how they run. I think the differences are you see kind of like How to Make It in America is almost the before, and Entourage is the after, in a sense, you know.
Well, and then when you talk about the music, I mean, how many other shows have mixtapes? They had a mixtape 1 and mixtape 2, which is great because you get exposed to these songs, and then all of a sudden they're on the show. You're like, oh, I'm so familiar with that. You know, it's definitely a community. I think this show does that more than a lot of shows.
And I think that one of the other differences is that Entourage, when the music, even though it drove the show, was songs you knew. Whereas How to Make It in America, it sounds like, well, who's that artist? You know, and so it's like it has more of that grind, like, you know, people who are on the come up kind of vibe.
Oh, man. I even like that term, on the come up. The show could be called On the Come Up.
Absolutely, you know.
It's like this show is an indie band, and
there
it is.
Established artists.
Entourage was the mainstream pop group.
With radio friendly records.
Being celebrities already. It started from, you know, Entourage. We automatically saw, you know, them making it, and as opposed to this, it's like, dang, it's really hard to get, like, we relate more to this.
It would be like us seeing Vinny Chase and E and all them when they were living, I guess, in Brooklyn,
in Queens.
Queens. And then them trying to get over here because it's not easy.
And another comparison, there's a lot of weed smoking going on both of the shows.
Weed smoking and women. Weed and women is the constant.
So that's just another similarity, just, you know, through line. But
I think you watch them for different reasons. I think you watch Entourage because it's like this lifestyle that's larger than life that you kind of wish you were there, and you're dreaming about it. And then this is your everyday, and you're going, yes, I know that just happened to me. Or, you know, that's happening right now, or just it's just, you just watch them for those completely different reasons.
I always get connected mostly on those phone calls when they're like walking in the street. And I'm like, that just sounds like something I might have said, where it was like, do I go with the opportunity? Do I go with the money? Am I playing myself if I try this route? I mean, these are all things that we go through. You said you go through that type of thing with your line, right?
Most definitely.
Can you give me like a sacrificial story, maybe, of something you've had to do? We want to support you.
Like, there's so many. I mean, I know that I always struggle with, you know, just trying to maintain the integrity of my brand, you know? And like you said, you're constantly battling between opportunity versus what's going to be the most financial gain. So,
I mean, you've had situations where I remember you calling me and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, they only gave me this amount for the budget. Like, you've had to come out of your pocket when you had to pull clothes, and they didn't want to, you know, give you enough money to fund the project.
So you were the capo character? She's like,
I guess I need $1. Find you a capo character.
No, I even saw a interview of Brian Greenberg where he was quoted saying, you know, when they asked him the question, what's the difference between Entourage and How to Make It in America? And he said that, you know, this is for our generation who has been hit when the economy hit, and we're still finding ways to make it happen. You know what I mean? We still, like, the world doesn't stop just because the economy went bad. We still got to get our moves on, you know?
And dreams don't stop either.
That's
you know, and so it's like that idea, and I think all of us are dreamers in a sense. Like, you have a vision, and I think that's, just to go back to connect to the show, is that, you know, sometimes the dream is deferred, like a Rene, it's like, is it coming? I'm right there, but I haven't crossed over that hump yet. I'm still having to do these day-to-day operations and do these things. And, Rene having accounts payable guys, but they're really not accounts payable or receivable guys, excuse me. They're not, that's not really what they should be doing, and it's just like those kind of grinds, makes, I think, that connectivity. And you're right, just like post 2008, recession, kind of like.
Sometimes you have to choke someone out.
I think it shows that
like,
it's hard to do the
absolutely.
right thing in order to get where you want to go. Sometimes,
Or it's that question that needs to be asked. Do I do the right thing, or do I do, the slightly underhanded thing just to get to my quick end result,
And just that it doesn't always happen exactly the way you thought it was going to happen. Like with them, they started out, let's make jeans, and they spent all this money on that one sample, and it turned into something else. And I can definitely relate to that. Sometimes when I'm so focused on my music, something else, like I host a couple shows. I didn't think that I was gonna be a host. Now I love it, but at the time I was like, no, this is I'm focused. This is what I'm doing, and I can't go somewhere else. But it all fits, and then later on you realize that this is all part of what you're supposed to do.
Wait, taking that account, do you guys think that Domingo was gonna get hit with the bug of like, hey, I kind of did want to do the photo shoot? Like, he walks in joking like, oh, I'm about to get my Versace on or whatever. But then he's the outside character. But
I think Domingo's about 5 years away from thinking that. I think he'll get locked up one time. I just don't know. It'd be interesting to see his character kind of come there, but I just don't think. Like, I know guys like him. They're just enjoying life, and it's like, ask questions later, kind of.
Do you think it's a conflict when your friends are kind of like that, where, let's say, you have somebody that you're trying to move 100 miles an hour, you're trying to make a good life for yourself, and then you have those other influences who may like slow you down? How do you guys deal with that in a friendship? Some of you, it might be a relationship.
You have to.
How do you deal with it?
You have to stay far enough away where you're not immersed, but you have to. But in a way, personally, sometimes you live vicariously through them.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
And so I can't be so close to you, but wow, it looks fun.
Yeah. And it's also, people are just different type of people. For me, I grew up in Southern California, so my high school friends are great. But do I ever talk to them? Not in a bad way. I love them to death. It's just the lifestyle is so much different. I'm literally going to stay up 24 hours because, oh my God, somebody made a phone call. Me and Marty are going to work on a pilot. Like, I'm that much on that zone, whereas, other people can't do that. Any stories like that for you guys?
I think part of growing is actually recognizing who those influences and what those influences are, because you don't always know that this particular thing or this person or this group is kind of slowing you down. You really don't get it.
Oh, I recognize it. I definitely have had to cut off some people because I'm like, you are not a positive influence. You are weighing me down. Every time I pick up the phone. Every time I pick up the phone, it's like, oh my, you're killing my spirit.
I call people like that drainers.
They
just drain everything out about you. You could tell a selfish person when they can name times when they weren't selfish. Like, I wasn't selfish this one time. Like, that's a good sign that that's a selfish person.
They're taking withdrawals and no deposits.
Exactly. And not being
those people.
We got a lot of good quotes today.
I'm a quote person, so stay with me.
Makes me want to take this acting class.
Hey, come on, man.
For free.
How to make it.
What was that? My mic went out. My earphones. But that idea of just not being from LA and moving here, and like, someone told me you're not going to understand. You're not going to start to understand LA till you're out here 5 years. And I was like, oh no, but it is true, because you go through relationships. You're like, you'll be hanging out with people. You're like, I don't even like these people. Why am I? Or you'll hang out with people because they're in your industry. You think that that's who you need to be hanging with, but they're stabbing you in the back and trying to pull you down. And I'm a big person of cutting people off.
That's so
real
interesting
quick.
that you said that, because you're from the East Coast and you moved here to LA, but that's what I was talking about, just that process of growing in order to recognize it. Because you're right, when you're first in this business, you're kind of like, well, I think this person is supposed to be doing this, so maybe I should be here, and realizing later what's a waste of time,
and you start to figure that out as you go along.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't need to be at that event.
Absolutely. I tell my clients all the time, if you're at a club, the DJ's the loudest thing, most likely business is not being handled.
More bar lounge.
Exactly.
We should all do a blog about,
Justin being from the East Coast, that I was wondering too, how do you think they're depicting the East Coast in this show on the Entourage?
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, I think that's the feel. You know, it's a lot of moving. You know, you don't see people in cars; they're walking.
Nice.
You know, the style is a lot sharper. Like, you know, one thing about the East Coast is like when it gets. I always like it when it gets a little cooler because you can put your clothes on, you know, and just that idea of that hustle and go and catching a train and, you know, having to pack a bag, you know, bring a bag with you. I just feel like the flow of that. And then the art galleries and stuff. And LA has that too, but like New York really kind of embraces it.
I lived in Weehawken, New Jersey for just a little bit after I did a television project, and I kind of hoped it would go somewhere. And it necessarily didn't, but it was a great experience. And I loved how you did have to plan your entire day.
Yeah.
My car is filthy, probably, you know, most of the time, just because I'm like, you know, I don't force myself to have to prep
And then
my day.
you cut to the scenes, the forthcoming scenes, and you see Renee's character sitting there at the buzzer.
Yeah.
And that to me is just like, oh, you can't do that in LA. You can't just sit there at someone's buzzer, you know what I mean? And to the apartment, or like, you know, those scenes, the romantic ones where people are yelling from the balcony. You saw that last episode. What do you guys think is coming up in the next episode?
Oh, predictions.
Yes.
Shall we do
AfterBuzz TV predictions?
Thank you, Jesse J.
Nice.
Asia, do you want to start off your predictions and maybe your style opinions too?
Oh, you know what? I was gonna say I really love the redhead. Her hair is
yeah,
so
she showed us a
really
little Chi-Chi this time too.
Yeah.
She did. Little quick shot.
We may have to do a profile on her. She wasn't in my order, but she started, you know, she got the little boost.
Well, there was a requirement to be on the show. You have to show at least one titty shot.
Yeah, there it is.
Guys
I'm
included.
just like,
What is it about her style that kind of...
You know what? She just embodied a New Yorker. You know,
Okay.
I lived in New York for a short period of time, and I'm a SoCal native. But I just kind of, you know, felt her vibe. The red hair was very, very sexy. It was kind of mysterious in a way, and she just, you know, just seemed like she just fit perfect in that whole fashion scene in New York.
Her name is Lulu on the show.
Lulu with the red hair.
I thought she made a really interesting statement where she goes, "Oh yeah," and it seems real true to her character. She goes, "Yeah, I'm kind of burnt out on the club scene since I was about 15."
Right.
When I saw that the actress was perfect, because it didn't seem like she wasn't that girl.
She had another great line in this episode when, you know, we all think Cam's gonna get it, and she says, "You know what? You smell like my dad." You know, and then she says, "We need to take a shower."
Right.
That's
That
like,
was really...
Another guy's more like,
moaning her. That's great.
Yeah, it was just like that was like you feel like Cam is a guy, you know, you just feel when he
You're rooting
wins,
for
you're
him.
like, yeah.
And
you
Cam
see
is
him-
my favorite, so I'm really rooting for him.
Absolutely. Cam is my, and when, you know, he's got knocked down a lot.
I do love
And then,
Cam.
like,
I'm a
you
Cam
know,
lover.
Yeah, you know, he has his own apartment now. It's the projects, but it's his own apartment.
Yeah.
You know,
You
he
got the view
this
of the river.
He's got this hot girl. You know, he
And
likes her
I
dad.
wanted to talk about Cam in his apartment last week. Everybody, you know, the guy who rented him the apartment, and you have to let my sister come back if she comes back from her trip. And the guy kind of saying, well, you know, it's not really that good. Like he was downing the spot, and you got to understand sometimes, like, if you know what you want, that's good enough. His visuals, I just need the river.
I just need the river.
I totally can relate to.
He said something. Two things about that, which is very New York. One, subletting apartments is a very New York thing.
Well, that's the thing of, you know, you do what you need to do. And not saying that I've been in that situation, but you sometimes have to lie that I'm somebody's cousin.
Right.
You know.
You're like, he doesn't care. He's like, I'll say whatever I need to do.
Say whatever
But
you
also, like he said earlier in that scene from last week, he said, I had a window next to the trash can. You know what I mean? Or like the dumpster.
The dumpster.
And so it's like, anything's better than where I came from.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know? And
people don't know what you've been through, and they always give you these expectations. Like, oh, I remember when I saw my little apartment, but I like it, and they were like talking about it's so small, it's real small, it's real small. I'm like, I don't care. You don't know what I was dealing with prior, and I'm really happy to be here. I don't care how small it is. It makes me feel good.
And it's like that other thing about, and you guys all have your business, that just that progression. You know, I just moved into my first like official office last month, and so
that's what I used to call my apartment. I'm like, can I write this off? Like, this is gotta be my office.
I was in my house a year and a half ago, you know, and I was like, this is my office, come to my house. And then I went and I sublet for about a year, and that was great. But now I have my own space, and it's like, it's scary, but it's that sense of ownership, you know, where you're like, you know, now you're like, I got to figure out how to pay this rent. But, you know, it's one of those things of that, I need a dollar. But it's just that accomplishment and those progressions. And what happens is, what I love about the show is when your back is against the wall, how do you handle it?
Yeah.
You know, and some people fold and some people step up.
You totally capitalized it on the best, which was you have a certain plan and you got to go elsewhere sometimes. You just got to be willing to move. Anyways, that wraps it up. We can talk forever. Thank you.
Thank you.
Website real quick.
DustinFelder.com.
Acting coach. He taught Jaden Smith. There you go. Asia.
Asia, stylist extraordinaire and designer.
Okay. Our other guest.
Hi, at T Lopez Music or Facebook official T Lopez.
Watch her on Latin Nation
Nice.
TV.
I
Great
will.
show. Ronnie Jr.
Thank you,
Spicy
guys.
Mari, follow me on Twitter at spicy_Mari.
Jesse F. Daniels, hit us up at AfterBuzz TV.
And once again, thank you to Phil Svitek and
Yes,
Jesse
sir.
Janity in the booth for making our show so wonderful. We really appreciate it. AfterBuzz TV, thank you very much, everybody. How to make it in America.
Peace.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.